Arsenal. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing about something quite sensitive to Arsenal fans at this point in time. Should we sell Gabriel Martinelli? This is a question that has come into my mind and the minds of several Arsenal fans in the wake of the speculation linking him with moves outside the club. So there's no better way to start than to look at his output for the club in the past 6 seasons. Martinelli joined Arsenal from Ituano in the 2019-2020 season. Edu did some good scouting in his local homeland and he saw a young lad that he felt could do a good job at Arsenal. And he was quite the punt. In his first season in Arsenal, he played 26 games. He scored 10 goals and he had 2 assists. Then in his second season, he suffered that serious injury, which paved the way for Emil Smith-Rowe to have an extended run in the side in the season that Arsenal missed out on Champions League qualification. So when he returned back from his injury, he played 36 apps, scored 6 goals, and recorded 6 assists as well. But Martinelli's most prolific season for the club came 2022-2023 season, where Arsenal challenged for the Premier League title, and Martinelli was one of the standouts in that campaign. He scored 15 goals. I think Odegaard also scored 15 goals in that season as well. And then Saka had 13 goals or so, and Gabriel Jesus had 11 goals. Arsenal actually did very well offensively that season, scoring 88 goals in the Premier League. But unfortunately, the frailties at the back cost the club dearly, as Saliba's injury, which paved the way for Rob Holding to come into the team, and the team just went down south from there. Then 2 seasons ago, which was the 23-24 season, Martinelli made 44 appearances, scored 8 goals, and created 5 assists. Kind of a massive drop-off from what he had done in the previous campaign. And when he hit those heights of scoring 15 goals, a whole lot more was expected of him. But that 2 seasons ago, he struggled. He didn't look like the same player that was lighting up defenses the previous year. Then last season was his most prolific in terms of appearances. He made 51 appearances for the club, scoring 10 goals and creating 5 assists. So the output hasn't been so bad. He's a winger, and any winger that scores between 10 to 15 goals is not a bad return, because you would expect the centre forward to do most of the scoring. But last season in the Premier League, it was just Mohamed Salah and Brandon Mbeumo that were able to hit the 20-goal mark as wingers or inside forwards, or whatever you want to call them in modern day football. They all have names now. Today is an inverted winger, tomorrow is an inside forward, next tomorrow is a round deuter, that's Thomas Muller back in the day, and so many others. But Martinelli had 51 appearances last season. A whole lot more was expected of him, and I think he was decent. He wasn't consistent, in all honesty, because he would play a certain amount of games, he would struggle, Leandro Trossard would take his place, and they kind of just shuffled between each other. So it was very clear that Arsenal needed to probably upgrade his position. He has been there for 6 seasons and he has not been influential enough, in all honesty. But he has been doing well, he has been decent. But for a team challenging for the Premier League title, you need to have the best. But he's a good squad player, in all honesty. Just that many Arsenal fans are in alignment that he can be upgraded. This season, Martinelli has actually been on the back pages with links away from the club. It's so funny to know right now that Arsenal's record sale is still Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain in 2011, or 2014. That is a 35 million move from Arsenal to Liverpool. Alex Iwobi also moved for around 35 million to Fulham as well. So till this point in time, I've not had any major sale, and it looks like if anyone is going to go for Martinelli right now, he would certainly be the club's record sale. So according to the back pages, Martinelli has been linked with moves to Bayern Munich and Aaron Nasser. So I'll start with the Bayern Munich deal. So with Sunday leaving, Vincent Kompany has been looking to bolster his squad, Nico Williams was one of the targets that Bayern Munich had, but Williams had declared his interest in playing for Barcelona instead, which now meant that company had to pivot to other targets. Gabriel Martinelli had been identified as one of those targets that this company is interested in. Then for the Saudi club owners, there's already news linking John Duran with a move to Fenerbahce, and that's a very strange one because John Duran left Aston Villa for £77 million last January and has only played 5 months basically in the Saudi league, and he wants to call it quits. So the speculation right now is that the Saudi team are interested heavily in buying Martinelli, and of course, knowing that it's Saudi Arabia, they will probably want to offer an insane amount of money for his services, which could actually, rattle Arsenal. Andrea Beta has gone on record to say that he loves Gabriel Martinelli to stay, but if a monumental offer, as I repeat, if a monumental offer comes into play, Arsenal can consider a sale. Another thought in mind that the team, I read somewhere, I think TBR Football, stating that Martinelli is keeping his options open, which means that there's a potential for this move to actually happen if everything aligns into place. That's one, Arsenal getting a very good offer for him, and two, Martinelli being offered some kind of personal terms that he would love. I know a team like Bayern Munich can pay Arsenal a huge fee for his services if required. And if you look at the current squad, there's Musiala on that wing, although Musiala can also play from the central attacking midfield position. There's also Kingsley Coman to contend with as well. There's also Serge Gnabry to fight with. So if Martinelli goes to Bayern, he's not just going to walk into the he's not going to walk into the first team because there'll be some opposition in terms of other experienced players in the squad that he will need to challenge with. But obviously, if he comes in for a huge money sale, there might be that preference to, at least play him initially to just see how he will acclimatize to life in Germany before, if he doesn't do well enough, then of course his place can be taken. But then again, the likes of Koeman are edging towards exit. Gnabry is also someone that wants to probably leave as well. So he might actually have a very, very settled spot in the squad. As for the Saudi League, I don't know, man. I don't really follow Saudi football. I just know that that's a place where folks go to and earn big bags of money and just chill. We all know what happened with Neymar after spending a couple of seasons there. I think he played just 8 games in 3 seasons with them or something like that, and was earning amounts of cash, but he has gone back home to Santos. And we've had people like Jordan Henderson, who went to Al Ettifaq and played, I think, just a season or 2 before moving away to Ajax. So I don't know whether a move to the Saudi League would be an ideal move for Martinelli, but then again, South Americans, Africans, and some Europeans, they have that preference for following the bags. So Martinelli doesn't come off as that kind of guy. But hey ho, if Al Nassr makes a kind of crazy offer to Arsenal, and Arsenal actually accepts the offer, Al Nassr will probably notify Martinelli that they can give him like some mad bags of cash, and that might just turn his head around. You all remember what happened to Oscar when he was just playing his best football in Chelsea, and SIPG from the Chinese league came around and he didn't even think twice before making that move. So we've also seen folks like Hawk, who left Zenit St. Petersburg to the Chinese league. So South Americans are known for actually moving around and stuff like that. But Martinelli is someone that is highly respected at Arsenal. He is one of the major first-team players in the team. He is someone that has grown into, spending time in the club and is part of our fabric. But if the conditions are right for a sale, I don't think it would be a bad idea, only if he's well replaced. So looking at his replacements right now, or potential replacement, these were supposed to be additions to the club with Martinelli, but they could potentially just be his replacement. So we're talking about Eberechi Eze, we're talking about Rodrigo, And recently, Arsenal has been linked with the move for Ademola Lookman. So in yesterday's video, I spoke about how Arsenal fans are currently favoring Gabriel ahead of Rodrigo. You could check that out and just get the thoughts for why I shared there. But I might just touch on a couple of things. Gabriel would not be a bad replacement for Martinelli at all. Although I would have preferred Gabriel to play with Martinelli. But if Arsenal goes ahead and sells Martinelli for a big amount of cash and AJ comes in, then I don't know, I will just have to live with that. I like Martinelli, I think he's a good player and I think he can still improve. But he has just not shown that cutting edge. He still lacks composure when it's required. The same man that scored a very beautiful goal against Real Madrid in the Bernabeu was the same man that missed glaring chances against PSG in both semi-finals. So that's the thing about Martinelli. He's a good player, but when the chips are down and he needs someone to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and get us out of dodge, he's not that guy. But Eze is that guy. Eze is, for a club like Crystal Palace, with all the struggles they've had, Eze's numbers continue to remain prolific and consistent. So if Arsenal wants to sell Martinelli, I will not oppose that move. I think that he's a brilliant player. I think that he can still improve. But the only way it will make sense for Martinelli to leave the club is if the conditions are right. And when I say the conditions are right, I'm talking about Arsenal receiving like £70 million and above for his services. That's one. Then of course Martinelli receiving an offer that he can't refuse. And if those two align with themselves, then I guess we could say goodbye to Martinelli. But it's a long summer, about to enter July, and of course there will be loads of transfer activities in the course of the summer break. And before we know it, preseason would start. But we'll just have to just monitor and see how it pans out. So please do leave a like, do leave a subscribe, and also let me know what you think about the potential sale of Martinelli. And see you in the next video.